Hey, Michael's First here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the 3 C's to focus on during a crisis. So in a crisis we tend to focus on what's going wrong and all the bad things that are happening, and we do have to focus on those things, sure enough, so we know things don't get out of control and that. But it's also good to focus on the things that we can control, and where we do put our focus is how it's going to determine how we actually feel about things. Alright, so there are 3 C's. I'm going to go through them one at a time. Now the first C is it builds a sense of character. Now what do I mean by character? When anyone goes through a crisis or a situation, what happens is they have to go deeper. And if you've probably been through some sort of turbulent time in your life or some sort of crisis, be it a relationship crisis, financial crisis, a health crisis, and it just forces you to go within and look for your own internal resources. And when you come through it, you become a different person. You're just not that same person that you were before, and you can never will be, because you've become a different person. And you've got new resources that you never thought you had. And that crisis brings out the character in you. It generates a new character. It helps you become that new person who becomes more resilient and much stronger person from within, more internal fortitude. So that's the point 1. That's C number 1. Now C number 2 to focus on during a crisis is the sense of community, and also add to that connection as well. Community and connection. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been out walking and I've noticed that there's people who are out walking that I've never even seen in my area before. Like there's the regulars that go out, but now I'm actually noticing people who are out there more, and people want to stop, but they're still respecting that distance. You can sense that they're respecting the distance. They want to stop and talk. They just want to say, hey, how's it going? And they just want to connect with people. And you also know, like everyone knows, that people are shopping for each other. The people that can't get out, they're in isolation, like total lockdown isolation. They're out shopping for each other. They're helping each other in a community sense. They're helping each other out. Just like when there's a natural disaster, like you just see people pitching in, and there's just everyone pitches in and helps out. And especially here in Australia, where we are, like we're known for that, like to help your mate and help your neighbour. I'll just give you one example of crisis. If you remember back to 9/11, from what I heard about New York, I've never been to New York, but it's the city that never closes down. It's 24 hour that keep ongoing. And from what I understood, people used to walk around there and just head down, wouldn't talk to anyone, wouldn't want to connect with anyone, any strangers and that. And then when 9/11 happened, all of a sudden everyone was just talking to each other, and they wanted that sense of connection and community, because the crisis or the tragedy brings them together. It's something that bonds them together, and you become stronger. The community becomes stronger. And now with this coronavirus, it's not just our local communities that are going to get stronger, it's the world community. So I'm already seeing things like that, where the world community is becoming a stronger place. We're going to be more connected than before, outside of just social media. We're more connected now with social media and the internet and that. But now we're going to be more physically, I think we're going to be even stronger connected in that regard. We're going to be more respect for each other, rather than all the immaturity that we've had in the past with each other. And even it might even show online. That's what I'm hoping anyway. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not diminishing all the sad stuff where people are dying, people are suffering and that from this current situation, and people are losing their jobs and that. I'm not diminishing that at all. I'm just saying that there's things we can focus on, and this sense of community in a crisis, it brings out the best in people as well. Alright, so now the third C to focus on. That third C is creativity. Okay? Now I don't know, I've had a few people, I've noticed on my Facebook and that. I also had people message me. I say, how you going? They're going, I'm so bored. They've got nothing to do, and the kids are driving me crazy, and all that sort of thing. Well, now's the time. The opposite to me of boredom is creativity, because with creativity, you can either be one of two things. You can either be a consumer, or you can be a creator. So if you become if you're a consumer, you're just consuming what other people have created, such as TV, Netflix, music, movies. All those things that just fill you up. You're consuming the media. You're consuming it rather than creating it. You're not creating your own entertainment, in other words. You're letting other people entertain you rather than you creating your own entertainment. Now, when I was a kid, back in the 80s, that makes me feel pretty young there. It's only the 80s. It wasn't that long ago, was it, really? So back in the 80s, there wasn't as much entertainment back then. Like now, it's instant gratification now. You get entertainment easily these days. Back then, as kids, we'd have to come up with our own ideas on how to entertain ourselves. Like we'd go out visiting friends and that, and we'd have to come up with our own ideas how to entertain ourselves while the adults were talking or whatever. And if my cousins are watching this, they'll remember a game we used to play where, you might like to try this game, where the idea of the game was there was 4 of us, and the idea was to try to make the other people laugh, and the three other people weren't allowed to laugh. So the person would get up on stage or like in front of the others, and their job was to try and make you laugh. And whoever laughed first, then it was their turn to get up and make the others laugh and that. And out of that came this incident where my cousin got up and just did this crazy little dance, and all three of us just burst out laughing. And it's something we've talked about ever since. It's just something we've remembered ever since. So the creativity of just that moment, that game we used to play as kids, because there wasn't much to do. And, it's just created a memory that, we've remembered for the last, 20, 30 years. We've always remembered that. So now's the chance to become creative. What can you do? What can you focus on? What can you create? Can you create a new business opportunity that other people can consume stuff from you? Can you be, what games can you create with your kids? Creating new connections with your kids. You can get deeper connections with that close family around you. There's all these opportunities to be creative now. Rather than being bored, it's time to go back to that childlike creativity that we used to have that was programmed out of us as adults. Because when we go to work, they basically tell us what to do. Whereas back as kids, we use our imagination and we make up stuff. That's where kids get all imaginative in that. If you're bored, you don't know what to do, ask your kids. They're still in that mode. They know how to be creative in that. So that's the opportunity there. All right, so that's been my 3 quick tips on the 3 C's to focus on during a crisis. So again, I'll just revise them quickly. They are, it builds character. It builds a sense of community and also connection, which I put together, community and connection. And also, it can generate a sense of creativity. Now, these things only happen if you focus on working on those things. They won't happen if you just you're looking at all the downsides and it's all, like you don't want to focus on those things. If you want to move forward and look at the opportunities and what you can get out of this situation and the benefits of it, then you'll start to see character building within yourself and within others. You'll start to get that sense of connection and community with others, and you'll see it in others. And you'll also have that sense of creativity and a freshness to your life that might not have happened. Now's the time, you've got this time to rest and regenerate, and just take that time now to really recover and rest and recover as best as you can. And new ideas will start to flow if you allow yourself just for that to happen. All right, I'll leave it there. You have a great afternoon, a great day, a great morning, whatever time you listen to this, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.